All right, is Audacity recording?
Yep.
You've had the audacity to turn it on? All right, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right. Fuck yeah. All right. Welcome, guys. This is episode number 2 of a yet unnamed podcast. No idea. Yeah.
Yet unnamed is genuinely a decent name.
That can be the name.
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of people have thought of that before. My guest today is Mr. Matt Storer, Perth comedian, good friend of mine, emceed my wedding, actually.
I did, yep, I was there, yep.
And
his wife is real, by the way.
I do have yeah. We have an ongoing joke with the live stream community that she's not real.
She's not?
Paid actor, waifu pillow.
Well, I could be a paid actor.
Yes.
You don't know how far this conspiracy goes.
That's right, yeah. This is, there's the whole conspiracy that Australia itself is fake.
Yeah.
So this is a minor conspiracy within that bigger shell.
We're pretending to be in a country where you've pretended to marry a woman.
It's amazing how fucking dumb some people are. There is people actually believe that. That is.
100%. There's no limits.
I think it's Americans that's
the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
There's just too many Americans.
Well, I feel like we think that way because we have cooked people now as well, but we assume we've imported it. So we're we wouldn't have flat earthers if it wasn't for the Americans.
Yes. Yes. Well, they take the cultural charge, both good and bad.
Yeah.
So it's yes, they lead the sort of, the positive capitalism and the innovation, all that sort of shit. But then you also get getting the whack fucking, the absolute whack jobs sort of coming in as well. But they do sort of. I watched a good video actually on, it's called Ray Dalio, The Changing World Order, about how empires...
Damn, Ray Dalio. Is that a real nice name? Ray Dalio?
Yeah, he's one of the richest men on earth. But
fucking hell.
Great name. But it's fascinating because he talks about predicting the future based on the past. So the whole idea that, the history doesn't rhyme. No, history doesn't... What's the word? Doesn't repeat, but it rhymes.
Right,
and so it's everything that's going to happen has basically happened before, and empires always have the same sort of up peak and then drop.
Okay.
And at the moment we're at America, they're on the way down.
They're on the cusp.
They're now pretty much on the down, but it's fascinating because they all have the same pattern of effects that cause the increase and the drop.
Yeah.
And civil tension and clashing between people is a sign of things are on the way down. This widening economic gap between the rich and the poor, and then eventually they collapse, and then fucking China will be coming up next. So
next.
Up next on planet Earth.
Stay tuned.
Yes, Chinese domination. Now, from there, nice segue into your life.
That was a heavy start, man. That's generally hour 2 in Joe Rogan, and we got there off the bat. That's pretty good.
World politics into conspiracy. I like to start with that.
Yeah.
And then work into small talk, how's the family?
The family is... I have a cat. He's good. Yeah. My cat's got AIDS. Yep. That's a real thing. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
In case you didn't know, FIV is
feline
immunovirus. Yeah. Feline.
What? You're serious? Your cat has AIDS?
Yeah, my cat has AIDS. Well, he didn't.
There's the clip for the show.
That's a good episode.
Episode 2, Matt Storer.
Cats with AIDS.
Cats
with AIDS. But he doesn't have, because you know how there's HIV and that develops into AIDS. So he has FIV, but it hasn't.
I'm trying not to laugh.
No, it's fun. I don't know why it's so funny. People don't think it's real when I say my cat has AIDS, and they're you're making that up. And I'm no, straight up.
Okay, well, because the implication is your cat got AIDS from either a dirty heroin needle or it got bumfucked by another cat.
We don't know. We don't know because he was an alley cat. So he was a stray cat that they found, and then we fostered him and ended up adopting him. So, but to salvage my cat's reputation, cats can pass it through scratching and biting. So you can just get in a fight with an FIV positive cat, and then you have FIV.
Can it pass to humans?
No.
You sure?
Yes, because it's FIV.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, not
HIV. Sit back.
Yeah. I'm not gonna fuck you, Adrian, on the podcast.
This is the casting couch. Welcome.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, you didn't ask, but he has AIDS.
No, that's good. That's, I mean, is it like a death sentence or?
No, not really. If you basically he's not allowed outside because if he does get sick, if he gets sick like any other cat would get sick, he's gonna get fucked up.
Yes.
And also he could, if he fights with another cat, he could give it to another cat. So yeah, he's an indoor only cat, and he doesn't seem to care.
I love cats, man. I'm a big cat fan.
Yeah, cats are the best. I think people when you say you're a cat person, people are like, oh, so you hate dogs? You're a fucking weirdo. And you're like, no, I don't hate dogs. I just don't want to own one.
Yeah.
But that's too much. That's childlike for me. That's beta, having a dog.
What do you mean?
As in, it's more needy. You've got to maintain a relationship with it, and walk it.
Oh, childlike, as in
childlight, as in it's beta.
Right,
it's
right.
when people get a dog, I feel that they're training to get a kid.
Yeah, it's just have a kid at that point.
Yes, basically.
Cats are more independent. They'll look after themselves. It's sort of the non-committed person's pet. It's I want a pet.
Yeah.
But it's it'll shit where it needs to. It'll eat, it'll drink. That's fine.
It's less like having a kid with needs and more like having a roommate with you.
Yes.
You still need to hang out with it, check in with it, provide. But it's it has its own space, which I enjoy.
I find that cat people are very much dogs are cool, but I just prefer cats. I like dogs. I just have never had a backyard for a dog.
Yeah.
Dog people I fucking hate cats, mate. I'll fucking boot the next cat I see, mate.
Yeah.
They tend to really hate cats.
I don't know. I think it's because they're channeling that from their dogs. They're when I see a cat, I want to chase it. Yeah. I'm a cat person. I hate mice. So it goes all the way down.
It just goes down, yeah. There's mice people. What do mice eat? They just fucking hate cheese, bro.
Yeah. I hate the Black Plague, man. It's such a fucking... Yeah, classic.
Damn. Okay, so let's go on to... This is Matt's story. This is your life.
Okay,
I'm bringing our guest. This is your year 2 art teacher.
Yeah. She was hot, man. I was homeschooled.
That is true, actually. You were homeschooled.
I was homeschooled, yeah, in primary school. So from years 1 to 6, and then halfway through year 7, I went to school.
What did years 1 to 6? Okay, so did you go to a kindergarten or a pre-primary?
Nah, nothing.
Really?
Yeah, all at home. So my mum taught me to. It was like a self-taught curriculum, which in retrospect is the one thing that I look back and was that was dope.
Yeah, right.
So my mum basically taught me to read and write, read, write, and do basic math, and then the rest of it was just me reading the book and being oh, okay, that's a verb, and I taught myself, and I also could run my own schedule. I could wake up whenever I wanted. Yeah, right. I could start and finish work whenever I wanted it, as long as I got my amount done.
Your KPI.
Yeah,
you've got a certain amount of vowels.
Pretty much. It was modern day work from home, very, very loose.
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
Damn, man's been training for COVID his whole life.
Pretty much. It was very isolated. Yeah.
So, man, I've never met anyone else homeschool. That's actually an interesting topic. So there was no real structure. You could do most of it yourself.
Yeah.
What did your mother try and mimic the classroom? I'm picturing you're in your garage, there's a desk, there's a fucking locker, you bring your school bag even though you live there. Did she try and make it feel like a school?
No. So we had a long, so it was me, I have 6 siblings, but it was me and we kind of were had in groups of 3. So I have 2 older siblings that are closer to me in age, and we all was homeschooled together, and there was a desk for 3 kids with a partition between us, and so we all had our own little our schedules, what we have to do, and then our books and our pencils and erasers and stuff, and just taught ourselves basically. And Mum would mark our tests or answer questions, but she wasn't actually present while we were doing anything. She was just doing her mum stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
But surely there was some was there any content being taught and then you would do the book for the rest of the day, or was it straight up you just do it yourself?
Pretty much, as I remember, straight up we do it ourselves. Yeah.
What was the motivation to not just fuck around?
Well, because Mum is still checking in. She's like, hey, you had to do eight pages with 4 activities today, and you didn't do that. So now that rolls over. Means you got to do more tomorrow. So it basically, again, this is the one thing that I reckon is dope about homeschool, is that really the work ethic it develops in a kid is really great, because you're I fucked around today and now my life's going to be hell tomorrow. So you just realize if I'm just do my shit, everything goes well.
That's good. It's not because I found that a big shock between high school and uni, where it was high school, your teachers are on you constantly. This is due tomorrow. Make sure you get this done. You got to get this much done. Uni, it was bro, I don't fucking care what you do. Like, if you fail, we still get paid. Yeah, it's on you. So that would have been like that at a very early age, where it was like, I know that I need to get this done, and it's more like your self-motivation versus being like helicoptered and like micromanaged and told that you have to keep shit up.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think what else helped is that like it's not like I could have like, you know, the bad kids in class like, you know, lure me into being a bad like it was just me and my sister
just fucking smoking in the bathroom.
Yeah, like there was no way that I could be like, you know, overly distracted or like convinced it wasn't cool to do schoolwork or like any of that. So
how did you socialize?
That's the catch.
Because that's the catch. There's got to be a downside.
That's the catch. So obviously, like that's a thing with homeschool kids. We're not, you know, like. I think that's something that, like, I still as an adult feel was like missing from my upbringing, like especially for millennials. So I reckon, particularly from millennials on, growing up, pop culture is very important to how we bond with our peers. What cartoons we're watching, what video games we're playing, what like comics we're reading, all that kind of thing. So I was completely unplugged from that. So like I never watched like Dragon Ball Z.
Were your parents like don't watch TV? Were they one of those?
Not so much don't watch TV, but very highly policed. So anything that like, because my parents are also very religious, anything that
Your dad's a pastor, right?
Yeah, evangelical pastor. So I think like Hillsong, but him.
Yeah, okay.
It'd be cool if his name was Bill Song. Bill, and I
am I right?
It's David.
That's,
so that
okay. Work. Well, that'd be like an Asian man named Bill Song.
Bill Song. Yeah. It's like a Korean cult leader. So it was very much like anything that was like had like supernatural themes or anything like that was considered, you know, demonic in some form. So
no Harry Potter.
No Harry Potter.
Well, I remember you worked a little bit for Sunshine FM, right?
I had like a segment, I think like every other Wednesday I'd go there with them. I ended up not doing that because...
it's a Christian station, by the way.
It's a Christian station, yeah. So there was I got in trouble, right? This is how intense their like Puritanism is. Because my thing was like I'd come in and just have my say about something. It was a very loose, classic, bottom barrel radio segment. And one of the things I did was like, it's 2022, why don't we have like an alarm that just wakes you up personally? It doesn't wake up everyone in the room. Because like, I need to wake up early. I don't want to wake up my girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. But then I'd implied on air on a Christian radio station that I was sleeping next to my girlfriend and not my wife. And they had calls. They had phone calls into the station to be like, my kids were in the car, you know. Like I'm being a total slut.
Oh my god. And then the thing is, they turn like 3 notches on the dial over and they hear whack. And it's like, is this really this really a problem?
It was pretty mild compared to the point that I didn't even think about it until I came back and they were like, yeah, well, you can't say things like that. And I was like, wow.
Were you fired for that?
No, I wasn't fired at all. They pretty much were just like, you know, hey, we got in trouble for this, like steer clear of that sort of thing. And that just kind of ruined the vibe. Because I'm like, okay, now I have to pretend I'm not me so that people don't get mad. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know. I think it kind of just like fitted out. That was just so I wanted to get like radio demos for myself. Yeah. So that's why I was doing that. But
I had a little spot on Sunshine FM as well, actually.
Really?
I was with Pieta from Perth Happenings.
I know her, yeah.
And we'd go in and do like, here's what's happening.
Yeah.
Like this weekend.
Okay.
But it was a short-lived thing, but it wasn't huge. And again, you've got to be very careful what you pick.
Yeah, totally. They do like Bible readings in front of the weather. Did you see that?
I've listened to it before.
Yeah.
John 3:16.
Yeah, for God so loved the world. I mean, yeah.
Oh, it's good. They need a station.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm just like, probably if you want a free-form comedy segment, don't go on such
a... Oh man, I've had some fucked comedy segments on radio. We did this thing on 6PR at midnight.
Oh god.
You can imagine the people listening to 6PR. The people who listen to 6PR have bad hearing as it is. But it's like midnight, you're getting just like old, fucking like very old people.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting the oldest of the old people listening. And we had myself, Nick Hunter and Jimmy. You'd have like a lot of... It was like me and a bunch of boomer comedians, basically.
Yeah.
And it was like... We were all pretty good, but then there was, I think like a few that were just a bit too crude. And it's like, this isn't like an open mic stage where you've got like young people listening. You've got like 100-year-old women who can't sleep listening. And then like he's coming in just talking about jacking off and shit. It's like, come on, man. So eventually like, nah, it's too crude. Get this shit off the air. It was called the Pontificans.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes, but there were some fun segments. Yeah, look it up. We have a huge fan base. Don't worry.
yeah.
They know.
Hashtag bring back the pond.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
Yeah, fuck man. Radio's interesting.
It's a whole thing.
So you are you doing any radio now?
No. Apart from that, I do writing for Nova.
Yes.
But I'm not on air anywhere. No. So if you're looking for someone, let me know.
Well, all the big wigs are listening.
Yeah,
now,
I think I'd still think twice, to be honest. At this stage of doing comedy, if I got offered a radio job, because I've always seen it as purgatory for comedians. It's like this sort of like happy like placement you get, and you're always like 9 to 5, very stable, very secure. You are technically entertaining, you're technically building an audience, but you won't have time to like gig or do festivals or like actually capitalize on anything. So you kind of just, it's kind of like this happy place you go to that like you don't actually progress, but it's like you settle basically.
It's a real 6 to 7 out of 10 satisfaction career.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Yeah.
You're right. You wouldn't have time to do all the other shit. You can be creative, but only so creative.
Yeah, and you're still like reading ads. It's like you're not like doing a podcast. Like you're still like definitely under the corporate thumb.
You can't say fuck.
You can't say fuck or mention girlfriends.
Yeah, right. Apparently. Yeah.
So yeah, it's I feel like the best way to get into radio is that you become so famous that they want you. Because then you can swing your dick a bit.
Yes.
And you already have a pre-existing career that you can negotiate that like I'm still doing festivals. I'm still like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So
because there's some pretty big comedy names in radio. Like there's like Joel Creasy and a few of these like.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And he still does like festivals and stuff. And depending on who you're working for, like a national place like Nova, you can be an ABC, like people that are on Triple J. You can be in any capital city and still be doing your shift.
Yeah.
So like that's handy.
What's your sort of long-term vision? Seeing like in, I don't know, 10 years time.
Yeah.
Do you want to be like stage heavy with some media, or do you want to be like media heavy with some stage?
I guess it depends what my life looks like. In like 10 years is a long time, man. Like I don't know if I'll have like goddamn kids in like 10 years. So I feel like right now the vision is that I'm more media heavy. I'm still doing gigs. But I'm like focusing on the media stuff because I've realized like I need to build an audience, which is working, which is great.
Yes.
So yeah, I'd love to build an audience, but that is like for me a pole vault into. What did I use the pole vault? What's the big? Is that the pole vault?
That's fishing, is what you're thinking of. No,
the one where they run, and then they have a big pole and they go over the.
You'd probably say to launch a career.
Yeah, let's
to pole vault a career.
To pole vault, yeah. Vertical bars into.
It's all just gymnastics references.
Yeah, that's all I do.
Gymnastics.
Into live performance, like that's the dream would be that I can do like theatre tours. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, right. So the goal is like arena comedian.
Yeah, I'd love to live performance to be like the main thing I do. But then I can also imagine getting tired.
Yeah, fair enough.
Making online content is not as tiring because you can just you can do it in your room depending on what you're doing. I can like just do it in my room and then just post it and then that's it.
Yes.
I don't have to go anywhere or do anything.
Yeah.
So the introvert in me loves that.
It is good for that reason. I did stand up for I think 3 years.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
I feel like you did it for longer.
3 or 3.5, yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't.
We'll call it 3.5.
We'll say 3.5. I liked it, right? But I don't know. It was a mixed set of things. It was like I enjoyed it. I think I was like not bad at it. But it was not my favorite thing to do. My favorite thing to do was like making video content. And it's like I found that my best jokes was basically me acting out scenarios that could have been videos. So it was like I prefer like the narrative structure. For me, that's the best way I can make people laugh. And it was also like I can reach more people that way as well.
Yeah.
Like as you know, doing stand up, there's a lot of like just fucking performing to 15 drunk cunts at a pub on a Tuesday night.
Who even if they love you will forget your name in an hour.
Yes, yeah, it's crazy. And I found that because I used to make videos as a kid. It was like a lot of fun. YouTube was never a thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, fuck, maybe I can, continue doing that, because it's still the urge that obviously we both have. It's just you just like making people laugh.
Yeah.
You enjoy doing that. And it's like I found that as the better avenue. But this, leading into the TikTok side of things.
Yeah.
So I've been doing TikTok for a little while. You've started recently. When did you start?
In earnest recently. I think maybe it was probably like mid 2021 I started posting things on TikTok, but it was kind of just like I post something and be like, oh, that's how it works, and like I didn't have like I wasn't like attempting anything. I think it's only like post Fringe World this year, so maybe like from March this year I've been regularly posting stuff. Yeah.
Now, had you made video content before TikTok, or was this the first?
Yeah. I made Caucasian Love was like the first thing I'd made. I'd made like a couple of like songs as part of like ad campaigns for like PSAs. Like
I saw the bike one.
The city of I think it was the city of Stirling or something paid us to make like a song about riding bikes. It's good.
Yeah.
So that was like I just was like, I'm getting paid to write a song. This is awesome.
That's great.
But it wasn't like me making it. So yeah, it's been I like that my I have a bit of shitty stuff at the bottom of my TikTok feed.
We all do.
You can actually see me incrementally getting better,
learning
and being
what
like,
works.
oh, I can't believe I was using that color captions, like all that shit. And I'm slowly like falling into like a routine of this is exactly what I do every time.
Yes, which I think is great. I think with TikTok, it's very much like people want to know what they're getting themselves into. So it's like they see one video, they kind of want to be like, I want that same energy across all of them.
Yeah.
To a degree. Obviously, as a comedian, you want to keep sort of changing and doing different things, but you also need to think what's going to bring people in.
Totally. It's almost frustrating to that level, because I find like because the first video that went viral for me was the Kate Bush parody where I did 2 avocados. That was I'd had like a couple 100,000 views, but that went to like 5. Like I'd never
massive.
seen something go that huge before. I'd never had anything. It kind of was like an existential crisis. I was like, I've done so many things, I've done so many performances, like I've had so many successes in my career, but most people on the planet know me as
because
the 2
of
avocados.
The 2 avocados. So just for a bit of context, Matt does musical comedy.
Yes, correct.
And so this video was Running Up That Hill. Is that the name of the song?
Yeah. It was a parody on Running Up That Hill, and it was literally like it taught me that like I don't know if this is a non sequitur, but like the more thought you put into something does not equal how well it does.
Yes.
That was literally me going to bed, me having Running Up That Hill, blah 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 blah. As I was falling asleep, coming up with just some fever dream parody of it, and the next day being like, well, I've got to post today, so I'm just going to record it. And then boom,
Yeah. That is it's almost a inverse correlation with how much effort you put in and how well the video does.
Yeah.
When I started, I was doing fucking like 8-minute long YouTube review videos. Me and Callum would film them. It would be like, fuck man, I'd go and buy all the product that we needed, I'd brainstorm, I'd write shit, I'd plan it all out. It'd be a week-long process, and then you edit it, it takes ages to get like 75 views.
Yeah.
And then I filmed one day my cat running around after her with a microphone.
That video.
Yeah. Pretended to be an ACA reporter.
Yeah.
And that got like 60,000 views in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And this was YouTube. Like, it's
on YouTube. That's a big deal.
It is. Yeah. Well,
YouTube views are like the gold standard of views.
Yes. Yeah. If you can get YouTube views, it's like, whoa, you've done something very right.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. And so it's like, I wanted to make the long stuff, but I was like, this reaches people. So I feel like in this kind of social media, if you're making content online, it's a constant back and forth pull between what you really want to do creatively and what people want to watch. Yeah. And you can't be too precious on either end. I've seen a lot of people be like, no, but I'm like a creative soul and I want to do what I want to do. And it's like, that's awesome. You'll be broke and you'll have no fucking followers, man. Yeah. There needs to be give and take.
And you can compromise. 100% you can compromise. When my gold standard for a song, when I wrote a comedy song, I'd be like, first it was 5 minutes. When I first started, I want a 5-minute song. That was only because
I was... verse, chorus.
Totally. Bridge, breakdown. And that was only because I was doing it to pad out stand-up shows shows that I wasn't ready to do.
All right.
I'd book an hour show at Perth Comedy Festival, and they'd let me in for some fucking reason, and I had 40 minutes, and so I'd be like, I need 3 5-minute songs to get even close. So I'd just come up with songs that were just so long.
Man's going for an aria.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Chart-topping.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Sorry, just quickly, is that a thing in musical comedy where it's like, don't do the chorus twice?
Because
it's not new anymore in comedy.
Yeah, or if you're gonna do the chorus, but like my answer to that is catchiness goes a long way. Like you still, if you like having people like my Caucasian love song, like people tell me that gets caught in their head all the time, and that brings people back to the video and makes people go, "Oh, have you seen that?" Or "What are you singing?" You know. So a kind of repetition is good, but I definitely agree. You don't want to do the chorus exactly the same too many times.
Yes.
And what I was saying was like I started at 5 minutes, and then I was doing. I'm going to post things on the internet, so that's about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minutes is as long as it's going to get. That was my new rule. And TikTok, you can literally scroll through my thing and watch it slowly. Like then I was like, all right, I'm going to do minute-long songs. My songs started to be like 50 to 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And now, like
it's just fucking 2 frames.
I'm literally But 4 billion views. They're literally about 20 to 30 seconds.
This app is melting our brains.
Yes, but it's not like, because I was saying this in terms of the compromise. Like I'm still enjoying it. Like I'm still like, oh, okay, I can still do that. I still like I'm enjoying the process. It's easier.
Yeah.
Rather than me thinking like people are gonna watch it and be like, this is too short. Like that's what the art form demands. But yeah, it does drag you in the same way that I think it's making audiences have shorter and shorter attention spans. It's making creators have shorter and shorter.
It is a race to the bottom, but
you
got to be ahead of the curve.
Totally.
So you like a fucking month ago or a month and a half ago, I remember talking to you. You had like 1,000 followers. What are you at now?
We just crossed 50. We just crossed 50k.
That's fucking congratulations, man.
Thanks.
That is really cool. I'm genuinely fucking stoked to hear that.
It feels good. It's like I don't know if you're the same though, but like I think I need to go to therapy. I enjoy success for a very short amount of time.
Yes.
Like I get to like 50k and I'm like, yeah. All right, 100k, and I'll be happy. At 100k, I'll be fulfilled.
I could talk about this for hours.
Yeah,
it never stops.
Yeah.
So it's like you'll have, it never stops. You'll be like, when I was fucking starting out, man, it was like, oh, if I had 1,000 subscribers, holy shit, it would be unbelievable.
Can you imagine?
Envision your life like 1,000 people watching, like that's their attention is so rare. I can't believe I'm getting this. And then you get to 1,000, and man, it's just like it's exciting, and then that becomes the benchmark. And then it's like, or that becomes like the, what's the word, like the baseline. Yeah. And then it's like, road to 50,000. You get that, and it's like, cool, that's the baseline. And it's like, and as much as you try not to, it just becomes like numbers. It becomes like a real like, oh, I catch myself thinking this all the time. I only got 1,000 views, and I'm like, 1,000 people I've never met who I've made laugh.
And in a very short span of time, you go back, Adrian would have been blown away by 1,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you try and think of what your old, younger self would have said. But it's just human nature. Like, it's not. I try not to guilt myself too much about it, because it is like
it's hard to have a relationship with that feeling, because it's a good thing in a way. It's a motor. It makes you go like the next thing.
You do
get
need
bigger,
to,
get better. But it's also like, if I think I do need to come back away to appreciating what I've like achieved and being a bit more like
Do you know what helps?
In the back more.
What helps for me is I found a crowd visualizer on Google.
Okay.
And it was like, what does 1,000 people actually look like?
Yeah.
And it was like 10, 100, and it was like 500 is like a small lecture theatre. And then like 1,500. So I would say my average views across all the videos, you take out the massive outliers, but on average, it would be somewhere between 1,000 to 3,000.
Yeah.
And then like I look that up, and it's like, that's like a big theatre full of people.
Yeah.
When I think of it like that, I'm like, wow, that makes me feel a bit better.
Especially like every week you get out and do a gig in front of that many people.
Bro, it's like, for me, it's like every 2 days. And I'm like, that's awesome. That actually makes me feel really good. So that's a good way of doing it, I found.
That is a good thought.
To rehumanize it, because it's very easy to just be like, they're numbers. It's a statistic. It's like, those are real people.
Yeah.
But yes, that is a constant struggle. The benchmark always just keeps going up.
Yeah, well, already I'm thinking like 100k, like, I gotta get there.
I'm off that 100k mindset now.
Yeah. Yeah, you must be close.
I'm at 94,000.
You're like 1 million view TikTok away from.
Yeah, well, I haven't had a good one pop off for a little while, but that's the game, unfortunately. Some weeks you'll have like 2 that fucking blow up, and then other weeks you'll just have like I've had 2 weeks now with pretty much just nothing popping
The
up.
superstition gets to me, man, because it's like this is like the way human brains think. When we have no control over an environment, we come up with superstitions to make us feel like we understand it. So I'm always like, oh, I've got no views because I posted this video and I had like this word in it. Like
I get a message from you every 2 weeks, like, bro,
dude,
is this a shadow ban?
And I have like a pinch of shame when the next day when I realize like, why did I fucking drag Avery into that shit?
No, that's fine. Man. I have that thought as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it'll be 0 for like a couple of hours. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And I'm like, what have I done? And then you feel like, oh, like this is it. Like TikTok's like cut me off, man.
Oh, bro.
And it's like your drug dealer not answering your calls. You're like, come on, bro.
Give me that red bubble.
Yeah. Totally.
It's hard to not tie that then to like how you feel. Like this is the flip side of it.
Yeah.
Is that in the industry we're in, right? It is an unfortunate reality that our success is measured by external validation.
Oh, totally.
And the recipe for happiness is to do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we're in this industry where it's like you need other people's constant and growing approval in order to consider yourself good.
Yeah.
And so, I've fucking forgotten what I was going to say now.
That's all you get. Thanks for just bumming us out and leaving it at that.
No, I just realised
Appreciate that,
the
bro.
true sadness.
You did have like a place to go with that.
Yeah,
like,
no, I did have
No, 100%. It's like, but also like there's I think you can make a compromise. Because like the same as stand-up, right? Like the stand-up, you need people to be laughing and going like, you're great, and have more gigs in order to be successful. But you will do better on stage if you don't give a fuck. If you are secure in yourself and confident and know that you're bringing the heat, and if come what may, you'll perform better. So, I just punched the mic.
Start again. Fuck, we've ruined it. Come on.
All right. So my cat has AIDS. So I think I suspect it might be the same with online content. Like, and I have found that. Like sometimes I've made something and immediately been down on myself about it, and been like, I'm not trying hard enough, blah blah blah. And then I put it up and it blows up, and I'm like, maybe I should just shut the fuck up and make my shit. Like,
that's what I was gonna say. Yes.
Yeah.
It's hard not to, because and the algorithm is very unpredictable. So it's very much like, it's fucking weird, man. Like, cause what we consider, like, I'll make videos that I'm like, as a comedian, I'm hell proud of. I'm like, this is clever comedy. I like how I've done this. I like the joke. I like the fucking bait and switch. Like, I like the way that that's been crafted. And then that would just flounder and not do very well. And then something insanely easy and dumb, and I made this fucking video for my live show where it was like summer in Australia, and I was like, I almost made it to try and make the most basic level fucking like lad bible-esque fucking relatable down to earth video, and to this day it gets constant views, constant likes. Oh my god, this is so funny, bro.
Yeah.
It's literally just like, oh, how hot is railing on a summer's day?
Yeah.
How hot is the car seat fucking seatbelt thing?
Right.
And it's like, I am so not proud of that video. But cunts love it.
Yeah. Dude, same with 2 avocados. You think I'm proud of that shit? There is merch. There is fucking 2 avocados. No! Someone in Texas messaged me and was like, hey, can I make merch? I'll give you like 50%. And I was like, dude, if you can make $1 off 2 avocados merch, you will blow my fucking mind.
God damn.
So they're like, I don't want to be known for that. If people are like, why don't you have it pinned on your profiles? Because I'm not trying to distance myself. Like, I'm glad that it got me like 45,000 followers, but probably not that many. Probably like 30 something. But like, still, I'm like, it's not my proudest product. But yeah,
it does. Yeah, well, it does do that. You got to like sort of cast a wide net, and then it's okay. So I think it's like I try and split them up into like the videos that do really well is casting a wide net and bringing new people in, and then the daily, everyday bread and butter videos are
solidifying your hardcore fans.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like those are the ones that you want to, like, obviously you want to bring new people in, but you really want to get a solid foundation of like loyal followers who just love your shit.
Yeah.
And there's a theory, it's like the
80-20 rule. That's what I was just thinking.
Well, yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
But there's also like I think it's like the 1,000. No, it's like 100. No, 1,000 true fans theory.
Right.
And so it's like if you have a business, if you are a comedian, if you're whatever, if you have 1,000 people that love you enough to spend $100 a year on merch, on fucking subscriptions, on whatever, then you're making $100,000 a year. So it's like, see it like the big ones cast the net and bring new people in.
Yeah.
But it's the every day or the every 2 days, however often you upload, that just builds more and more of a connection with your existing audience.
Yeah.
And then they're the ones who will ultimately support you because they're like, I love this guy, I'll fucking donate, no worries.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's how I cope. That's how I cope with
That's what I tell myself. I'm glad you
eventually
eventually brought that depressing sentiment around. Yeah, straight up. I like that. Yeah, nice.
I need some water, man. I have 2 seconds.
Yeah, go for it.
You've got to go and entertain the audience for 10 seconds while I'm off.
Can I do sexual things or?
You, in fact, must.
Oh, okay. This
Launching
escalated
OnlyFans career.
quickly. Fucking hell! Look at that water bottle. just so you know that he handed me this, and he has that. There you go.
I like to like emasculate in subtle ways.
Yeah, what the fuck? That is a massive Chad bottle.
This is a thing that goes like upside down on the water cooler.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the same color and everything. That's crazy, man.
Shit. All right. How long have we been going for? This is very like freehand, by the way. How long have we been?
Probably like 30 minutes.
It's been 30 minutes. How long have we gone? Is the audio good? We sound good?
36. Yeah, it's fine. I just had to turn it down halfway through.
Oh, cool. No, all good. Now, so I asked, I've had one guest thus far, it was my brother.
Yeah.
Asked him to bring something. He brought Turkish coffee.
Uh-huh.
Cooked us up that.
Yeah.
Now, I've asked you to bring something.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, you're going to teach us, you're going to educate us, you're going to give us something that we didn't know before.
Because the way you phrased this question was like something like almost of cultural, especially when you were like, my brother brought Turkish coffee. I'm like, oh, fuck.
He's not even Turkish.
I'm like white as shit, like to the point that like my parents both did 23andMe. They both did the DNA test, and it's just like all UK.
Really?
There's like one little like blip in France, which I suspect is just one of my ancestors like fucking someone in France.
Probably,
on exchange. But like it's very white. So I brought the least white thing I own.
Oh.
It's actually wrapped up in that jacket. Callum, could you hand me the jacket?
Yeah, bring it in.
Because it's like a secretive thing. So I got this when I was like
I'm excited.
when I was a teen. So my dad's like as we mentioned, like a pastor. So he's like a missionary, right? So like he like once a year, not anymore because he's like retired, but once a year he'd go on like a mission trip for like a month. And eventually it became tradition because he has 7 kids. He took one of us with him when we came of age.
Yeah.
So when he took me, I went to India and Nepal, and this is a Nepalese gurkha knife.
Gurkha knife.
A gurkha knife,
Gurkha
baby. So you know about the Nepalese gurkha?
No.
So the Nepalese gurkha is they're like basically a clan of like assassin warriors that are like intense. Like they're known for like they're basically like the berserkers of Nepal, but like kind of like
I thought the Nepalese were like calm.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Buddhists.
Mix like berserkers and ninjas. Like they're like.
Is that sharpened?
No, I haven't sharpened this
Oh,
ever.
okay, good.
So it's probably blunt enough that you can touch it.
Still pretty sharp.
Yeah, no, it's still pretty sharp.
Wow.
And it's like it's almost like a religious item because like if their rule is, it always sounds like something out of a story, but it's real. If you pull the knife out of its sheath, you have to draw blood. So if you don't actually end up attacking your enemy, you'll just like cut yourself a little bit.
I just did it.
The sort of thing. Yeah, well, you're not a Gurkha, so it's fine. Yeah, sometimes I say people and they think it's called a gherkin knife, which would be way cooler.
Yeah.
Just like in Hungry Jack's. Just
I just love their cheeseburgers in fucking Nepal.
But yeah, that's my gurkha knife. So like, we were like staying with this Nepalese family, and the father basically forced his son to give me this. Really? He was not keen. Yeah. So yeah, I don't really have anything. I can't like cook coffee with it.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's still pretty cool though. I think.
That is sick. I like that.
Yeah.
The sheath is made of wood. That's cool.
The sheath is made of wood. I
You
don't know,
can't
like.
bring that into Australia anymore. Like
No,
even timber.
in retrospect, I have no idea how the fuck I brought this back.
Bro,
This
my
would have been
fucking-
like 2013, 20 something like that.
Our grandma fucking when they came over brought a stuffed pheasant. into the country. And imagine, like, you know, they had limited bag space, and they're like, no, trust me, we need this stuffed pheasant. It's fucking enormous as well.
Was this for your wedding or something?
No, this was just cause. Like, there's just a decoration that I don't know when they brought it, but yeah, like you could bring a fucking a dead animal, but an animal nonetheless, into the country, and now you've got to like dust your shoes off. You can't bring any wood products.
Are there many Croatians been caught on border patrol?
It's just constant. No, well, no, yeah, they just everyone brings a pheasant. It's just like it's border patrol is mostly just Asian people bringing in dried food products.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm wondering. Like a stuffed pheasant would be a nice change of pace.
Oh, who put that in there?
A bird.
Yeah. That's I like that. That's cool.
Yep.
That's an interesting.
I'm not sure how much material we can get out of it.
No.
It is a Nepalese gurkha knife. I didn't really have anything of cultural significance to me because I'm white.
So your family is from the UK, but is England?
Yeah. There's like a sort of a mystery in my family tree. So like my mum's side just goes like they were in Queensland for a bit, maybe convict, we don't know. Whoa. And then like England, and then my dad's side is like on my paternal grandmother, just pure UK. My great granddad was like a World War II general or whatever, and then but on the father's side, like on the Storer side, where we get Storer from, it just disappears. The paper trail just fizzles out. So
names are meant to be like what that person did for a living.
Yeah.
So they just
stored shit. I did look at it. I used to do a bit about it, about how like there's one origin is like a form of Welsh that means unskilled workman.
I like this.
So it's like a very very uninspiring origin for my surname, if that is the case. It's sort of just dole bludgers of like the pre-medieval ages.
Yeah.
That was the stories, man.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I don't have a lot of family history, not really. Nah. Do you have like a crest and shit?
No. My family are Croatian, but I think further back, Croats are like half. If you see a Croatian, right, they either look like me, all right, just dark features, big eyebrows, or they're like tall, blonde, and blue-eyed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's like this sort of Swedish influence, or the sort of up north.
Yeah. Were you invaded by Vikings? Is that why it happened?
Everyone had a crack at Croatia.
Yeah, obviously.
So well, I'm like from the Turkish sort of. Like I had an Ottoman somewhere in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think that's
I see that.
Hence
cool.
the hair and I trimmed my face.
Yeah.
But our family name Alebeg is like it meant like a fucking an army general or something back in the day.
Okay, cool.
So I had at least one cool guy somewhere back in my history.
Yeah. But my great like he's kind of cool. My paternal grandmother's dad was like he had some cool like he got sniped in the head in I think in either World War II or World War One. To the point they thought he was dead. They put him in the death pit. So they put his body in the pit with the other dead bodies, and then he moved, and they were like, "Oh fuck!" and they like got him out. But he paralyzed his face, so he like was alive, but he couldn't express in any way.
Oh wow!
And apparently, like he was already quite funny, but it made him like hysterical because he was just
made him
like
funnier.
He was the king of dry humor. Like he'd just say everything with a completely straight face, which I kind of like as like a legacy that I can draw from.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I want to put a pin in that, but right. Hang on.
The pin's sitting there.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna go back to that actually.
Pull the pin.
It was there? Did you have is yours like a family of jokers?
As in my immediate family?
Well, that and then cousins and shit. Like, is it a case that your family is quite funny and you are?
We're quite charismatic.
Yes.
I'd say we're quite charismatic in our own way. Yeah, my dad's a pastor. Obviously, he's like he makes his living performing. I'd call it performing when they preach. And like counselling people one-on-one, so like interpersonal skills. But I felt like we're all charismatic in different ways. You know, I think we're all good with people. But like my sister Rochelle is like a really good storyteller. When she tells you what happened with her day, it's like hysterical and captivating, no matter how mundane it is. And Renee's like a social worker and a lawyer, so she's really good at one-on-one like interaction.
There's a lot of lawyers who become comedians and vice versa.
Yeah, that's a weird crossover.
Yes.
I think it's to do with public presenting and making an argument, because that's what comedy is, and essentially it's just like, what's the deal with? You know, lawyers are basically like, what's the deal with my client? Like,
Am I right?
Yeah.
But yes, and I think it's also they need to be charismatic in their own way, because they're trying to win a jury over. Yeah. But the jury needs to there needs to be some level of rapport between the jury and the lawyer. Yeah. In order for them to agree with him. Like I've read somewhere that like the definition of charisma is being essentially making someone feel the way you feel with your words, right?
Okay.
So if someone, you know,
telepathy.
Like, yeah, well, basically no. But it's like if I'm not charismatic, I'm gonna be angry and tell you a story, and you're gonna just feel the same way afterwards. You're just gonna feel like, yeah, whatever. If I'm really charismatic, I'm gonna fucking, and then he did this, and you're gonna be like, oh fuck yeah, fuck him. Yeah. So that's someone who's charismatic, is that they can essentially from their well of emotions give them to you via their words. Yeah. So yeah, that would definitely be the case with lawyers.
100%.
You're in a family of 7.
7 kids, 9 including my parents.
God damn,
that's math.
Now was that like I like to think that it was like you were just vying so hard for your parents' attention that it was like you had to be the funny one. Because that was kind of me a little bit.
Yeah, well, you've got one brother, right?
I have one brother.
Yeah.
A very loud brother, so
so you had to vie just as hard. He was like cousins. 6 older siblings. There's something Dave Chappelle said on a Comedians with Cars Getting Coffee that I was like, that's interesting. He reckons that younger siblings, because he's a youngest sibling as well, and he reckons that younger siblings end up in comedy and performance more. He said it in a weird way, half because, we have to work harder to get attention, so we have to be commanding, but also because we're peacemakers. So he reckons, our position in the family is to sort of break tension. So, which is what comedy is. I say you're creating tension and you're breaking it all the time, expectation and surprise. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what he said about why that was, but that's why he believed that younger siblings tended to be more funny, is because they become apt at breaking the tension. I suppose because all the old, if you're an older sibling, you're born into the tension, and the younger sibling comes along and there's already all these developed people have gripes with each other and personality,
bitter, just resentments over years,
right? And you come into that environment and you're they've already got their shit going on, so you're just kind of observing and interacting and breaking the tension. So it's an interesting idea.
Where are you in the 6 or 7?
There's 7 kids. I'm number 6, so I have one younger sibling.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. For me, I think it was I was the youngest of cousins on one side, right? So and significantly. So they were all in their 20s. In their 20s, I was a kid. Teens and 20s, and I just worshipped them. I thought they were so cool. I just wanted to be like them, right? But when you're a shitty little kid, no one fucking cares, you know. So I was like, whatever. This is a lame little kid. For me, I felt like it was if I said something funny, I would get their attention, and then I became very introspective, and then I was like, okay, so that was funny, and then I'd say something else, and they would totally ignore me, and I was like, okay, that wasn't funny. I say this, that worked. And I started thinking about this at a very early age, what was funny and what was not. And I learned the lesson of quality over quantity at one point as well. I remember the distinct moment of learning that as well.
Okay.
Then I don't know. So I think for me it was kind of that.
What was the moment? What was the joke?
Oh, no, I don't think it was, it wasn't, maybe it wasn't an exact moment, but I remember roughly it was year 2.
Sorry, I shouldn't have called you out on that. No, I was alright then, fucking tell me then.
It wasn't the moment, I worded it wrong. I just remember the time, it was kind of year 2. It was at school actually, but it was I was telling jokes, it was I was on a roll, you know, you get on these rolls, you say something funny, they laugh, you say something funny, they laugh, and I said something and then they didn't. And I was like, do it again, and they didn't. And I was like, do it again, and it was almost fuck off, Adrian. Just want to stop, you know.
I've ruined my goodwill!
Yeah, exactly. It was from that moment, I was like, hey, quality over quantity tends to work better.
Yeah. Unless you're on TikTok.
Exactly, we've gone full circle now. Now I'm just making the worst shit every day. Yeah. How much do you think is I mean, it's obviously a nature nurture argument, but do you think there is like an aspect of you can't teach it? Have you ever met like a comedian who was just dog shit at the start and then really got better on their own accord, were not naturally funny?
I compare it to musical talent. I think it's almost completely, or more specifically, rhythm. Because I used to, when I was much younger, I used to teach drums, just for a very small musical school.
You play drums?
Yeah, I played drums for like a decade, man.
Multi-talent, aren't you?
Yeah, well, look at me go. I only play piano when I do comedy because that's what my parents grew me like. Playing. They made all their kids learn piano, and then I watched School of Rock, and I was like, "That kid's lame. I want to be the drummer." And that's how that happened.
He was the cool kid with the spiked hair.
But like, they'd bring kids to me to learn, and every week they'd make absolutely no progress because they had no sense of rhythm. The instinct was not in them. They could not. There's no exercise you could do. There's no amount of repetition. They did not get how to keep time. So it was like, we can't do this. Yeah, there's totally people like that exist.
Man, I think my brother might be a bit like that.
Totally. And obviously it's a spectrum. Some people are like, insanely hit the ground running immediately in the pocket all the time. Yeah. And some people are literally like, have you ever seen that video of the guy at a concert, and he's just like, it's like a pub gig, and he's like clapping along, and someone's like actually put clap like sound effects over his clapping, and it's just completely random. Like it's not even close. So I feel like some people because I've actually taught comedy as well. Like I've done like comedy workshops, and some people they just do not have the instinct. They don't get. Like you'll try and teach them something like the rule of three. Like you do one thing, a second thing, and then your third thing breaks the pattern. And some people, they've never written a joke before in their life, and they immediately understand what that is and how to do it. And some people are just like, I went to the shops and I got lemons and oranges and a packet of chips. And you're like, no, you can't just say three things.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
So I think it's the same thing. And obviously, like within that, again, there's like a spectrum of some people are just like insanely funny immediately, and some people like have the instinct, but it takes some work.
So there is, right.
But some people, are completely, they don't understand how it works at an intrinsic level.
And I think that goes hand in hand with being able to tell a story as well. Some cunts are so bad at telling stories.
Oh, yeah. Like the rabbit hole people? My mum's one of those.
Well, my mum's one of those.
Yeah.
My mum's...
It's a very mum thing.
His mum's one of those.
It's a very mum thing. I don't know why... I don't know why mums are like that. Maybe because it's how, like, mums, like, they're just like, oh, I've got to take Adrian to school, and but I better pick up that on the way. So, like, their brains have to kind of rabbit hole. So when they go to tell a story, they're like, and it was 8. Oh, was it 9? And you're like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
I think that is a deep evolutionary thing where like men were tended to be just outcome focused. It was like get fucking saber-toothed tiger.
Mammoth that way.
Yeah, exactly. And then bring back that is goal. Whereas women are more perceptive in general. So I think for them it was more of like a spatial awareness. So the whole thing of that they can multitask and like they're better at that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Us men are almost like borderline autistically. You focus on a goal and you do that thing and you come back with it. Whatever. Women more like a little bit more open, a little bit more like detective of their environment. So you could scan for threats. You could pick up the mood and the feeling of shit. And so it's kind of like one of those. Like mind map diagrams where that's a woman's story, just like
whoop, 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 whoop. I actually call that like to me that's like what in my head I've called like male PMS is when you're like meaning like you get irrationally irritated and angry is when you're focused on a thing you're trying to do and someone's trying to like pull you away from it or like blah blah blah. Like if I'm in the flow, I need to finish this, and someone's like, "Can you just?" And I'm like, "Can you fuck?" Like, but it's totally irrational, man. But I'm like on edge because I'm like zoned in. You know what I mean?
I'm 100% like that.
Yeah.
I'm like actually he'll get annoyed at me sometimes because he's like, "Can you just fucking like watch this edit I've sent you? It'll take you 15 minutes and then like I can move on." But I'm like, no, I'm in the zone for this now. Like I can't. I consider my like. And this is a bigger conversation about the creative process as well. But for me, I'm like a fucking big ass truck where it's like it takes a long time for me to get momentum.
Yeah.
Once I've got it, I can't break it. I need to stay on that track until it's done.
Yeah.
And because I've gone through periods where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do 40 minutes of this and then 40 minutes of that, and just nothing gets done.
No.
It takes so long for me to get into it.
Yeah.
And I actually find that I have like a physical response when I'm in that sort of creative zone where it's like if I'm making a video, if I'm writing, whatever it is,
My heart rate's higher. Like I'm more sort of skittish in the way I think, but yeah, it's like a whole physical. It's like I'm in a totally different physical thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be taken off that. And it takes me a while to calm down from that. But it's like, so I think that all ties into that similar kind of...
I used to say exactly that when I did the comedy workshops, but I compared it to a steam train. So at the start, you've got to like shovel the fucking coal and like do the thing, and it's going... and it's so hard for that first 30, but like once you're going, like you just have to like make sure the fire's going like every now and then, like you've got the momentum, but then once you pump the brakes, you've got to start that all over again. So, that's
what is your creative process when it comes to writing a video, or is it a thing that it just comes to you and it's like, oh, I'm going to stop what I'm going to do and do this, or is it like, do you dedicate time to being like, I will write a video now?
The way I'm doing it now, because I have so much on, I fucking dream about the day that I do this 9 to 5 and it's just all I do, and like, because now I have my job and then this fills my leisure time, which is fine because I enjoy it, I really enjoy it, but it's still like, fuck, I'm tired. But like, I am like, one big practice that helps me with my creative process, and this is one of my uni lecturers that gave this to me, was to give your brain empty time, static time. So, because I think especially in the 21st century, we're constantly filling our brain with shit. We're constantly, I'm in the shower, I'm listening to music or a podcast, except Adrian's podcast. Or like, we've got TV on the background, or I've got YouTube going while I'm putting this together, or like, I'm listening to the radio in the car, but like, I make a practice of turning the radio off on my way to and from work. And I think literally, I would not exaggerate, maybe 60% of my songwriting happens in those 30-minute increments.
Really?
Just from letting my brain wander.
There is a lot to be said for that, because I tend to be constantly busy, always have input. And it's like my brain just like wants that, even though it's not the right, like it's not good for you long term, but it's like it just wants to keep going. But having time like that, like even just going for walks or something, ideas do come. The more space you put in, the more ideas tend to just creep in.
It's basically like, I see it as like leaving the window open. Like no ideas are going to fly in if your window's shut all the time. But if you just leave the window open all day, nothing might come in. But you're still like, the more the window is open, the more the possibility those ideas drop in. And that's like the process, is that's how the ideas drop in. And then I feel like there's a separate process for you actually taking that idea, processing it, spreading it out, making it happen. And that, it's kind of like when you're talking about the steam train thing. Like, I feel like you can't be too hard on yourself. Like, forcing yourself to create is what do you call it? A contradiction to me. You can't do that. I might dedicate an 8-hour day to getting a song done, and I do nothing for 5 hours. I write the whole thing in hour 6, and hours 7 and 8, again, I do jack shit. But like, that's the process. Like, I need those 5 hours of nothing to make hour 6 happen. So it's like, it kind of just goes through. And having a routine helps as well. Like telling myself that I post every Tuesday and Thursday. I make it happen. That
was a big thing for me as well. I used to post once every week or once every 2 weeks. And I was like, I heard, Sev? Sev's Pics. He, at one point, he's got like 1.1 million followers. Massive, right? Probably one of the biggest influencers in Perth. I heard someone say that, he used to make 2 videos a day. As soon as I heard that, it was immediate like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? One a week, one every 2 weeks. Like, I was like, immediately, I need to pick my game up. And so I'm like doing like 4 or 5 a week, but I was like, for a while, I was like, dude, how the fuck am I going to get 4 or 5 videos out a week? But once you set that as a standard, you're like, I have to upload 4 a week. No matter what, I'm going to do that. I don't know, the ideas, they come. Whether you drop your standards, and fair enough, to a degree, you're not going to make bangers every single time. But it's just content. You're getting shit out. And it's like, especially with TikTok, every video goes to a different... You're casting each video to a somewhat different demographic. You make one about cats, you're using a hashtag cats, whatever, it's going to go to those people, hopefully. And then, so you're sort of casting your line in many different ponds, and one of them will take. But you need to be in that pond. So...
And that lowering your standards is important as well. Like,
it actually is.
Well, especially when you're like, I call it... what do I call it? Procrastination, which is where like you're like, this isn't good enough, so I need to keep working on it until it's good enough.
Yes.
Or like you have an idea and you're like, I'm so in love with this idea, it's such a great idea, but like you never go to make it because you're like, I won't do it justice. Like I've got to like, you know, get a filmographer and I've got to like script it out and I've got to like, if you just set your camera up and do it on your fucking green screen in a day, it'll exist and it'll go great.
100%. Man.
So like part of that lowering your standards is getting past procrastination, which is where
That's a good term. I like that you've coined that.
Yeah. Put that on Urban Dictionary. Somebody upload that procrastination.
It's probably already like a sex move on Urban Dictionary.
Oh yeah,
involving shit.
Proscatafectionism.
I learned very quickly early on that perfectionism was the enemy. Even like, because I used to make content with my brother ages ago. No, it wasn't even content back then. That's a new term.
Yeah.
It was just like we made videos for fun.
Yeah.
And like my family are real perfectionists. My dad and my brother are very much like that. And we'd have like endless coffee meetings. All right, let's plan this video.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this. Literally, we have 3 coffee meetings for one video. And we'd be like, no, we're gonna get this. We're gonna make sure this is right. We're gonna make sure we got all this time. And then when I started my YouTube channel, like 2016 or 2015 even, I started on that same trajectory. I was like, I really want to make this first one good because shit, it's my first one. And then I was like, oh man, fuck it. Let me just try something different. Let me just turn the camera on and then start.
Yeah.
And I've just kept that motto ever since. And it's not failed me. It's just been like, it's better to have like a 70% good enough product out there, but have 5 of them, than to have the one, what you consider to be 100% perfect thing out.
Yeah.
It's like, just get more and more and more out there. It's an attention economy. It's like, you can't have enough content.
Yeah.
Don't make it shit, obviously, but nothing that gets past your filter of, I'm going to upload this, is going to be shit.
Yeah.
You need to like respect our filters, or we've had a whole life of figuring out what's funny and what's not. So even the thing that we borderline consider funny is still pretty good.
Yeah.
So
by most people's standards.
Correct. Yeah.
And as you said, sometimes you put something online that you don't even think is that funny, but there's enough people that do. That
Exactly.
Like, okay.
Yeah, it's people's sense of humor is very different. I've had videos that I've like been like, this is terrible, and I've had people be like, bro, that video you made about this, and I'm like, oh shit, here we go. They're like, that was my favorite one. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Dude, the 2 avocados. I hate to keep bringing it up, but it just blows my mind. The 2 avocados. I had what blew my mind was when I got a message from someone in America, just from like Illinois or something, on Instagram. So she went off TikTok, found me on Instagram, and DM'd me to be like, hey, just wanted to let you know, like I've had, you know, a really rough week. My life's basically coming apart at the seams. And your video like reminded me that there's good people in the world. And like, you know, it really turned my whole thing. And I'm just like, I'm not trying to do like I fucking it's 2 avocados for $10. Like it's like a dumb Kate Bush, but like the fact that it, like that's why you do it, man. The fact that it can have that effect on people, and also like just people sending me videos of like them in, you know, Europe singing it at work as like a private joke and everything.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've always found it fascinating that like something can start as like neurons firing in my brain, and then I have the power to like translate that into a real thing that exists and broadcast it to the entire globe, so that there's someone on the other side of the planet who's firing those same neurons and enjoying that same idea. And well, it's like you were saying, like telepathy. They're feeling the way I felt about it, and they're like, you know, it affects the way maybe they think about something, or like now every time someone mentions avocados, they think of me.
It's like, an ongoing thing. That's gonna be or it's now in their head for the rest of their life.
Yeah. It's like, and because I know what that is, because like obviously growing up as kids, there were viral videos, you know, like Trent from Punchy and all that. I still say coppers, punch me in the face all the time. Whenever I see a copper drive past me, in my head I'm like, coppers, punch me in the face.
That was a classic video.
It was classic. And fake. It turns out I didn't know that as a kid. I thought it was a real person.
Yeah, fuck.
But like the fact that I can be that guy, like I can like have that legacy in people's heads is like, you know, that's why you do it.
I fucking love the moments like that, and because it wakes you up. Because, you know, we get very buttoned down again in like we get very bogged down in the numbers and are we reaching enough people, and is it like, again, not even people, it feels like numbers. It's like we're hitting the right numbers here, we're getting enough shares and comments, and how's my engagement, but then you get something like that and you're like, oh, this is like a fucking real thing. I'm reaching real people here.
There's a higher calling.
Yeah, well, no, it's like, and you don't really think about that often, but when it does come up, it's like, holy shit, this is awesome. Yeah, man, like I've like live streams. I do a lot of live streaming, and that's a very different beast, because people will tune in
every day for 2 hours. I can't fathom giving that much attention to anything. But it's like people really resonate with you, and they really like what you do. And yeah, man, it's the same thing. You know, I've had people reach out as well, being like, man, I was like at the lowest low, being like, I've been almost suicidal about really bad times. And just one of these little videos that you watch just fucking gave me that boost that I needed. Yeah, it's so nice. And you don't think of that. You don't think of that at all getting into it.
No, you're like, you always feel bad because you're like, I'm doing this almost completely selfishly. I'm an attention whore. I'm not trying to like save anyone's life, but it's nice that happens.
Yeah, well, I think like your intention isn't as important as the effect it creates.
Yeah, of course not. Because I don't think Quentin Tarantino's like, I want to inspire filmmakers. Like, he wants to film women's feet, but it still works out.
Dan Schneider as well.
Fuck, dude.
That guy, man.
Yeah,
that's fucked. That iCarly girl came out with a whole autobiography about him.
Yeah, with the book. I don't know anything.
Creator.
Again, I didn't grow up watching Disney Channel or anything, so I'm not plugged into that at all.
Yeah.
I just from existing on the internet, I've come around to it. Yeah. This is a question. I don't know if you're allowed to say this, but do you scroll TikTok?
Yeah.
You scroll it?
Yeah, of course.
I don't scroll TikTok.
You don't use the app?
I don't use the app.
Really?
Yeah.
This man's got 50,000 followers and he doesn't use the app.
I wouldn't say that I never. I maybe like once a week. Yeah. Like when I open it, because whenever you open it, it opens on feed.
Yeah.
So I'll be
it opens on ad
and I'll
and
scroll.
then feed.
But I like 95% of my time that I do spend on TikTok is on my own page, like responding to comments, blah blah blah.
That's good. That's the good thing to do.
It's weird because I don't like TikTok. I like the platform, but it's I don't like the lure that it has on me. I don't like. It's this grip between. I want people to be on TikTok because I want them. I feel like it's my most successful platform, and I want them to be consuming my stuff. But for me personally, I feel like a drug dealer who's like, oh, I don't do that shit, man.
I mean, that is fair. You don't try your own product, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's.
I feel like it would be helpful to you though, because you would understand the trends.
Yes.
And like what's popping.
Yes. Yeah. So there's two sides of it.
My algorithm thinks I'm a woman, man.
What are you getting, like makeup
not even,
videos?
Yeah. Like not even on TikTok.
Can you show us your TikTok?
Yeah.
This is a personal thing because TikTok knows your deepest, darkest.
This is the thing, because I'm like worried that I'll show it and it's just going to be all thirst traps, and you'll be like,
Oh.
Yeah, look, it's a teenage girl who wants to get slapped in the face. That is my first video.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, we don't have great reception in here.
No, this isn't a tin shed. Dude, all I'm seeing is... Can we just scroll back for a sec?
Yeah.
This is what this motherfucker's looking up. It's just titties.
I don't use TikTok!
Titties.
I just said I don't use TikTok.
God damn, who's that? No, I'll be researching this.
But then also there's a cat.
Should we compare For You pages? I'm hell scared something fucking fucked is going to come up.
Well, this is what I feel like this is part of why I don't scroll, is that TikTok hasn't figured me out.
Big China knows.
Most of what I see on TikTok is like, it feels like it's made for teen girls. Like, it's like, when he doesn't text back and it's like a hell sad girl. And I'm like, why the fuck am I...
That is a sign that you haven't used TikTok enough, because the generic...
It's probably a feedback loop of me not using TikTok not understanding me, so when I go to use it, I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I don't use TikTok.
Yes, but like TikTok, there's like, there was a word for it. I remember hearing someone say it. I don't mind what's going on. So So here's the difference between our TikTok feeds. You open yours up on a big booby girl.
Yeah.
The first thing that comes up on mine is fucking this, man. Just these like shitty memes. Fucking insanely dumb.
Do you like stuff?
Yes.
Because I don't like.
I use TikTok a lot.
Like on anything. So the only place.
No, but they know. It's less about likes. It's more about time watching.
Time watch.
Yes.
Yeah. Even on my stuff, I've noticed that some things that have gotten less likes per views, but people must be watching the whole thing because it's still like the algorithm's still feeding it.
The metrics, like there's a ranking. I don't know where view time is. I imagine it's pretty high, but generally it's like shares, number one, comments, and likes is somewhere down there.
Yeah.
Because they want to reach more people, right? They want to get you
Shares,
emotionally
I'd imagine
involved.
would be number one, because that's like you're taking TikTok off platform and pulling people into TikTok.
Yes.
So if I was a TikTok CEO, I'd be like, shares are the number one thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's interesting that you don't use it.
I don't use it.
It is like there's two sides of why I use it. One, I'm just addicted. I can't not. Like it's just, and that's what it's for.
And it's not like I'm not I'm not being a purist. Like I am like still addicted to like like when I sit down on my computer, I open up Reddit. When I pull out my phone, I open up Reddit.
Yeah,
like
right.
on reflex.
Yeah,
like I'll be
right.
writing a song and I'm like, but I'm doing the song to myself, and then I realize I'm on Reddit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like
That's me on
I still have those lures and
Yeah.
addictions, but I don't know, there's something about TikTok that I'm like, this feels like crack cocaine, and I've been smoking weed, and I'd like to stick to the soft stuff, you know?
No, well, they know exactly what you like very quickly.
Yeah.
So that's what I was gonna say for straight TikTok, which is like when you first download the app and they know nothing about you, you're gonna get what people think TikTok is, which is teenage girls dancing, fucking just cringe content.
Mine hasn't not progressed past that because I just haven't used it enough.
Yes, or you just love teenage girls. I can't confirm either.
Look.
But but it's like, he's actually been using it 8 hours a day.
My algorithm, non-stop. Let's not go into my screen time.
So that's kind of the baseline, and then it figures out from there what you do actually like.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's a lot of cat videos, a lot of memes, a lot of just shitty kind of.
I think my
content.
Instagram is has figured me out because I do scroll Instagram.
Yes.
So that like feeds me memes and like cat videos and like like weird documentary bits and like history stuff, like stuff that I'm actually into. And I'm sure if I put that much time into TikTok, it would do the same.
Yes.
But no.
There is a meme of like content filtering down from TikTok. It starts there first, and then it goes to Instagram Reels, and then from there like Facebook, and then YouTube Shorts is like 2 months later. There's some very funny memes, man. It was like Instagram Reel users when they realize they get 2 weeks off for some weird virus. There's Instagram Reel users when they find out Jesus was crucified. Great stuff.
Right. They're like the Internet Explorer.
Yeah, exactly. It's
memes.
like out of date, just like real.
Totally.
That reminds me, actually, I do a little radio station. You remember Mitch Tinley?
Yes.
Yeah, so him and his mate Michael do a radio thing. I do a weekly rundown of like what's trending on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Yes, with them. So that's another reason why I need to use it, because I'm like, I need to see what's actually happening. But yeah, that's good fun actually. And so from that, I'm like, I should make some trending videos now and then just to try and capitalize on. Hasn't worked yet, but I'll just keep it.
We'll just keep it going. Well, I sometimes wonder if I could be doing better, but I also don't really like. I'm not really inspired to do that. I have so many. Like, I have a note in my notes app that's just all song ideas. Like, I'm good for the next fucking 10 years on song ideas. So like,
I've got a really good formula now.
My formula's down.
It's
like,
awesome.
It's like in terms of like the last video I put, which is like the Pocket Tap one.
Yeah, that was good. I like that.
That was like a 2-day turnaround. That was a 1-day turnaround.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm getting to the stage of proficiency where I'm like, I've got my whole system down. I can in 1 day come up with an idea, film it, and post it.
Nice.
So yeah, that's why I'm like, I can do two a week. Yeah.
I imagine for your content, it's like you know these songs because they're all pretty like popular songs. You pick up on a kind of funny lyric and you like expand on that.
Yeah.
Because I do this with songs in my head all the time.
Yeah. The original songs is like what I really wanted to do. If I was doing it 9 to 5, that's all I'd do, and maybe every time I had an idea for a parody, I'd do it.
Yeah.
But like, because of just how easy it is to come up with parody ideas compared to like entire minute-long original songs.
And it's relatable. People know that tune. It hooks them in right away.
Yeah, totally. I feel like right now, the parody stuff is what's bringing my audience in, and then I show that audience my original songs, and they're like, "Oh, you're actually funny on your art." So it's like that's my whole formula right now. The bait and switch.
Do you get many negative comments?
I get some.
Yeah.
I
What are
get
they
some.
saying?
Sometimes, so the last, like, for example, the Pocket Tap one that I did, I did not know that Adam Sandler has a Wallet Keys Phone song.
Oh, does he?
In his new Netflix special, he has a Wallet Keys phone.
Really?
I watched it, and it's enough that I probably would have posted it anyway. Like, my ultimate punchline and format is different. But, I get people being like, oh, like everyone's a hack nowadays, like stealing. But it's like I find that out scrolling the comments. I'm like, what? Adam Sandler? It's like a fucking wallet keys phone.
But it's like it's bound to happen, man. That like you're gonna
haters,
say,
and then sometimes they're just like it's just random. Like they just don't like it, so they'll just be like, oh, this makes me want to delete TikTok or like something like that.
That's a classic.
Like,
Well, no, what I meant was like it's inevitable that something you thought of, someone else has thought of, right?
Oh, right. At this point in history,
fuck. Oh, bro, yeah, we've had several billions of people. Yes, that's gonna happen. I think once or twice that's happened for me.
Where you've done something and it's like...
but it was like big and it had been seen before.
I don't think you really are going to get... I think people understand that enough that you're not going to get a reputation as like a hack until you do it repetitively.
Yes.
Like no one would be up Amy Schumer's ass if there was one example.
I was just about to use this.
There's like 15 to 20 examples.
Yes,
So it's like, that's when you get in trouble.
Yes. The first time I deleted whatever the thing was. It was like, I think it was like a Twitter. Yeah, that's right. It was because like ISIS was no longer popular, so it was like is more like was. But then someone linked like a meme that had been posted. I'm like, oh shit, maybe I had actually seen that ages ago, and it popped back up
in my head, and you're like, that's my idea.
Yeah. I deleted it though. I was
all the time.
I was fair about it.
Do you ever Google your ideas?
Honestly, no, because I don't want to know.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's a weird thing.
Fair enough.
And also,
I googled yeah nah. I googled
really?
the Aussie. Yeah, I literally googled like Usher yeah nah Aussie comment. Like I was trying to find it because I was like, this feels too low hanging for no one to have done that before.
That's great. Definitely watch that video.
And yeah, it turns out apparently it's just me. But even that, like on that video, I'm getting people from New Zealand being like, this is a Kiwi thing, and you're trying to claim it for.
Did they say that in New Zealand?
And apparently Canada too. But apparently Canadians say yeah, no. So they don't go yeah, nah. I reckon nah is us.
Yes.
But they go like yeah, no, yes. Like
the fact that your video is reaching other countries is just...
It's cool.
Be happy with that. That's brilliant.
Well, that's also swings and roundabouts for me though, because I got on TikTok to sell tickets, like I said. So I'm like, fucking... I'm glad that I'm big in Missouri, but I can't do anything.
You should do like your tour is just... fucking Comedy Lounge Perth, fucking Joondalup somewhere here, and then Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri. That'd be an amazing tour shirt. It's just like
the Gate Tavern,
Denmark, the town, Southern Cross, Missouri. Yeah.
That would be a very fucking funny thing to do.
Yeah.
I cop. I don't cop too many negative comments. I don't really touch on anything too controversial.
Right.
And nor do you.
No.
So anyone
Caucasian love is probably the most controversial I got, and no one really had a sad at that. So.
No. Yeah, but there's I don't know. So like people's like negative comments is always a way bigger it's way more their problem. It's like they're in a shit mood, sometimes, or just they're that kind of person.
Yeah, it mystifies me. I wonder what it is. Because I do think it definitely happens with music, but it's specifically with comedy, where people find something and they're like, this isn't for me. But it makes them mad.
Yeah, right.
And I don't understand where that connection's from. Maybe with comedy, there's like, you kind of feel left out. If everyone's laughing at something, it's either one of two things. I think you're either feeling left out because everyone's laughing at something and that's frustrating. You're like, why is this funny? What is it that you guys are getting that I'm not? And you lash out at that feeling by being like, this is fucking dumb. Or it's like I think this is probably more likely, it's a feeling of superiority. It's like, look at all these fucking dweebs laughing at something that I think is dumb. And I want to showboat that.
Yes.
It's one of those two things. I can't understand it in any other way. Because people do it with music as well.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, oh, fucking, this is music nowadays on like podcasts and stuff.
Music is super... music is super tied to identity. So that definitely is a case of that, where it's like a pretension. There's a lot of like pretension with that, where it's like, oh, my music taste is better, or whatever.
Yeah.
I like what you said about comedy being... Sorry, I'm distracted by the fact there's 2 minutes left on the car. What we did last time is just move that camera to there. So, yeah. So stop that one. Here we go. And then just fucking straight up just put this one in its place.
Oh, 2 minutes on the battery. Oh, okay.
No.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah, this is...
Now we break characters, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, I actually don't post on TikTok, man.
Okay, cool. Fucking
Fuck.
stop.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so we're talking about any negative sort of. Yeah, I don't really cop that much. I am still sensitive to it though. I don't like it.
Yeah, no, it definitely plays like I have to like consciously not let it get to me. Because even like the thing, I'm not a hack. I still forgot to say and I'm like, why am I letting this?
I know it's fucked because I want to be the kind of person that's like, oh fuck it, all right.
Yeah.
But it's like. It's like, you know, we do comedy, we make people laugh, we obviously like to please, we like to make people laugh and smile and shit.
Yeah.
And so when there's, low battery, so that's fine.
Jesus,
that's
you have to make this much noise as it dies?
Yeah. So when you get negative, I think it's just like, you're just not used to it as well.
Yeah.
Like I don't really
Because people, if they're not into your stand-up, they're not going to come up to you and be like,
yeah.
real bad job up there tonight, man. Like, you know.
I saw a I don't know how you say it, like a comedian gone YouTuber, but he was a comedian for a relatively short time, became a big YouTuber, but wanted to be a comedian, sort of more.
Yeah.
I saw him do a live show. It wasn't the best.
Yeah.
And then someone come up to him afterwards, be like, and he fucking filled the room because he's big on YouTube.
Yeah.
Someone come up to him afterwards, be like, mate, you're a much better YouTuber than you are a comedian. And I hung out with him for the rest of the night, and I fucking like ruined his night.
Yeah, totally
yeah, man.
would.
He was
100%.
like legit, and he's a dude that you would that would surprise you. And he was like, man, what the fuck did he say that, man? Like you could tell it really got to him. Like,
yeah.
Because
you can't help it, dude. It's like it just happens, and you've got to like. I always tell myself like I've been here before. I've had a negative comment that fucked me up, and I was fine the next day, and it's gonna be the same again.
Yeah.
And one thing that also helped was this happened semi recently.
Yeah.
Someone left a comment that was like straight up like weirdly hateful, and I like was to the point that I was like, what the fuck? And I like went into the profile, straight up 12-year-old girl.
Oh really?
Straight up 12-year-old girl. Like all their TikToks are just like her. To the point where I was like, are you even allowed this app? And I was like, I have to remember, I don't know these people. You don't know whether they're like, because you know, you have a friend who you're like, who gives a fuck what Barry thinks? It's Barry, you know.
Yeah.
Like how many Barrys are out there talking
there's
shit?
endless
Where it's
Barrys
like,
out
if
there.
you actually met them and got to know them, and then we're like, I can't believe I cared what you thought.
Yes.
Like, that's another thought that kind of helps me.
Well, it's like we're like evolutionarily designed to live in like a 50-person tribe, right? So it's we're super sensitive to criticism because like we live in a tribe, right? If you survive as a group. So if one member or a few members start to not like you, it's a sign that you're probably doing something that's not benefiting the whole community.
You need the immunity idol.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you need to. Yeah. You need to fucking. You need to stay with good relations with that group. Otherwise, you're going to get kicked out and you're going to actually die.
Yeah.
Right? So, but the thing is now with the connected world that we live in, it's like we have the same 50-person brain tribe mentality, but we're applying that to the infinite number of people that can communicate.
Yeah, like 8 billion people.
Legit, yeah, that's our tribe now. And so it's like, if anyone doesn't like me, it's like, ooh, that's like a guttural fucking lizard brain response.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit, like, I would admit to a little bit of narcissism to it as well. Like, somewhere in my head, I'm like, everyone must like me.
Yes,
And
yeah,
if
well, I think that's
someone
natural for a lot of comedians.
you're ruining it. So there is a bit of that. But yeah, 100%. Like, from that's an interesting perspective.
You ever meet someone who just doesn't give a fuck? I'm so jealous of those people.
Yeah, but I wonder how much of it's real. And I wonder, like, how much of their don't give a fuck, like, what have they sacrificed to get to that level? Like, what aren't they feeling in order to not feel that? You know what I mean?
There's mates of mine. I'm mates with Jimmy. That cunt truly doesn't give a fuck. It's actually amazing.
He must be in a nirvana of don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Bro, he turned up to my wedding in a fucking hoodie.
I was there. He had shorts.
If you're watching, Jimmy, fuck you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man, I've still not forgiven him for that. But that's the sacrifice you make. You don't give a fuck enough, you're gonna look like a fucking fool at a wedding. But that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think there is a trade-off of like being like hypersensitive to what others think is that you're going to behave in a way that is ultimately going to be it's going to lead to success because you're going to gain enough approval from the people around you because you're not pushing anyone's buttons that you're going to be propelled upward through the hierarchy.
Yeah.
But
So there's that side of it, but also you will lose yourself along the way because you will never develop this is my sense of... At some point, you're going to want to do something that you truly believe in, but you haven't built up that muscle of disappointing other people who are like, no, I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
No, this is the right thing.
100%.
Yeah. So but then there's cunts who just only do what they want to do, and they're unlikable and they don't get anywhere, and they're just fucking in a world of their own.
It's a kind of confidence. It's a kind of confidence to be able to just do your thing and win or fail, it doesn't affect you that much. I feel like I reached that with stand-up. Bombing doesn't really affect me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. And I know the gig where it happened. I felt the switch flick.
Really?
It's quite fascinating. Yeah.
What happened? That was actually one of my questions. I haven't even read any of the questions I wanted to ask.
But that was one of the questions.
That was one of them. I was like, worst gig.
Wasn't my worst. I'm not sure. Definitely up there. But I did a gig in Southern Cross, and it was a mental health fundraiser attended entirely by policemen and firemen, all old. So just a sea of white hair. Yeah. My nightmare demographic. No one thinks I'm funny. They're men who have dragged people out of wrecks. No one thinks I'm a good time. Yeah. So I was just tanking. And it was the first time that I was surprised in myself. I was I got off stage and I was like, I don't give a fuck.
Really?
I know what I can do and I know what I have to offer. And it wasn't I was blaming the audience. It was just so that happened. Okay.
Well, it's this is just not my audience.
Yeah, not my audience. And that's fine. And that, because before then, if you go watch early performances of me, I'm very hey! I'm that's what I thought confidence was. I was ramp it up, give him the jazz hands. But that night, something flicked in my head where I'm like, no, confidence is just being okay with whatever happens. Yes. Confidence is just getting on stage and going I know what I can do, I'm going to do it. If it goes great, awesome. If it goes bad, fine. I'm prepared for that. And having that mindset, just makes you do better.
Yes.
You're going to do way better consistently if you feel that way. So I've reached that in live performance. Bombing doesn't bother me.
Wow.
There's certain contexts where it might. If I'm doing my show and I invite a friend who's never seen me.
The Netflix special.
Yeah.
And it's in Southern Cross.
For mental health of policemen.
You should definitely record a Netflix special, just the old men in Southern Cross.
That would be a good Netflix special. Everyone does a Netflix special idea. Maria Bamford did. Have you seen hers?
No.
She does where she starts performing to herself in a mirror and then to a family on a lounge, and it just seamlessly keeps cutting during the special and she's still doing the same show.
Well, that's cool.
And then in a small room with raked seating and then in an arena.
Awesome.
And then it goes back again, so it keeps so it ends with her in front of the mirror again for the last 10 minutes.
So she's obviously done a whole set at the arena, but then she's
done a set in 5 different places with different size audience, and then the special grows with audience. So that in the end she's doing her theater tour.
That's awesome.
But then it comes back down to just her in her room by herself.
That's real clever.
Yeah. So my concept would be me performing for people that hate me.
Nice.
And that's the whole thing.
That would be very funny.
But there's just an obvious laugh track over people deadpan.
Yeah. Shots of the audience not laughing, but heaps of laughter's heard. Or doing that, but only filming the people who are not laughing in the audience. That would be funny. Just the one person who just...
Yeah. That feels very
that body language is what you want to see as a comedian.
Yeah, this. Yeah. It's very, I think you should leave that concept of no one laughing and you're filming them.
Fuck. I don't think I was in comedy long enough to get to that point.
Yeah.
Because, and this bums me a little bit about comedy, for me, is that it was hard, it was a bomb was hard to deal with. I've had a few, and it's it makes for a funny story, but in the time, it's oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So had I persisted longer, then it would have been fair enough, this is just not my audience. And, because there's a theory of that where it's 30% of people you meet will just not like you. 30% will love you, 30% will be indifferent.
Yeah.
So I guess that translates to comedy.
Wait, 10%. There's 10% left over.
No, there's 33%.
Oh, okay. I was I need to know. 10% will kill you.
Well, and it seems that 30% that don't like you are all in Southern Cross.
Yeah, fucking hell. At least they're in a pocket.
They're in one place.
Like British people in Joondalup. Like we put them there.
Oh, there's some in Rockingham as well.
Yeah, that's, I shouldn't be racist.
Yes, yeah. Man, I heard some kid the other day, because I do relief teaching, and he's like a little ginger kid, and his mate teased him, and he's like, "Sir, he's being rangist." Now I know rangist is a term.
Good. That's very good.
But yeah, no, I had some fucking bombs, and it makes for a hilarious story, but it is brutal. Like if you haven't been doing it long, like bombing is fucking, it's comical.
Devastating. Yeah,
Yeah,
it takes a lot to get back up.
Unfortunately, you're there, man. There's comedians that we both know who just stopped after one bomb.
Oh,
like, they just never came back.
Yeah,
and it takes.
Well, in a way, I'm like, fair enough, man. Fair enough.
It's brutal.
It's brutal. It's like when people, when you tell them you do stand up and they're like, "Whoa, I could never." Like that is in a way a human worst nightmare.
Yes.
Is being on stage, attempting to entertain a group of people, and then all simultaneously, with very loud silence, thinking, this guy fucking sucks.
He is not, yeah.
And then you have to leave through the crowd and make eye contact with them. And they're all just like, oh, that guy. Like, you go to their friends and being like, that was the worst one. And you're like, Jesus.
Yes.
But the opposite happens. Like, you do a gig, you crush, and you're floating off pavement all the way home.
That is a brilliant film.
And it's like, it's the polar opposite where you, like, I could conquer the fucking world. I'm Alexander the Great in this bitch. Like, it's a totally different...
That is why you do it, because nights like those are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But like, so my worst gig, I had a few bad ones. My second gig ever, I did a bunch of like lesbian jokes to a crowd of lesbians. Not realizing.
So that's either going to go real good or real bad.
No, it did not go well. I didn't have like the ability to like change on the fly. It was just like I'm just rehearsing what I've written. So that didn't work, because there was a comedian who worked at a gay bar, and she brought like all her friends, and they were literally half the audience. At Fremantle Comedy Factory.
Right.
Yeah, so I sort of scuttled off stage after my set.
Yeah.
And I was gonna get beat up, man. It was just they could all beat me up.
Yeah, you still can't show yourself at an AFLW game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But no, dude, I had another one.
I'm nervous about your phone. I feel like it's going to fall off the couch.
Okay.
You don't have to do that. I'm just letting you know.
I'll just precariously. I'll just like rest it there.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I had another fucking big bomb as well. I've had two at Comedy Factory. So this was in Frio, and this is where I did both my fringe shows. Luckily, it wasn't a fringe show. It was just like, it was my first time. Not exactly headlining an open mic, but when you do the last spot at an open mic, and I'd been doing open mics long enough that I knew that was the good spot. It was like, wow, like I'd earned the closing spot on an open mic. I was like, that's a big deal. And I did like 10 minutes. I was given 10 minutes. I'd never done that before. I'd only done 5, so I was like, fuck, sweet. I kind of made the mistake of doing a lot of new material, and I had this like fucking 4.5 minute bit about clowns, and it just basically it was St. Patrick's Day, right? So people have been drinking since fucking 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And they are sitting through a whole comedy thing. They were probably at the peak of drunkenness when they bought the tickets. They're like, fuck yeah, let's do it. They get in there and they just sober up, and they get more and more tired. They've been drinking all day, and then it's 10 o'clock, I hit the stage, and half of them are fucking not paying. They're just on their phone ordering Ubers, man. Like, they're not really paying attention. They just weren't having it. And then I get up there doing 4.5 minutes on How Funny Are Clowns.
Yeah.
And it was just getting worse and worse. It was just crickets, man. There was like a couple little punchlines where two people like pity laughed.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was terrible. And I was like trying to prove myself to Tor at the time, because she was booking. I was like, shit, I want to do a good job here. So she does it again. And I bombed. It was fucking bad. Again, and that's a brutal one. You do need to walk back through the crowd all the way through. And I remember walking, because for some reason the park's really far away. It was like a rainy day. It was like, it was comical, man. Walking back to my car, a car driving past, I'd waited a little bit so the show had finished. A car drove past and someone yelled out the window, "You suck tonight," and kept driving.
Oh, Jesus.
In that moment, I actually burst out laughing, because it was like, this is like a movie. This is like the lowest low in a movie.
Yeah.
I was like, this is actually hilarious.
And then a bird shits on you or something.
Yeah. I was like, it can't get worse than this.
Yeah.
So I survived, and I was like, fuck it. It was kind of empowering, But I was like, I don't want that to happen again, obviously. But it was like, it was very funny. It was like, that is my lowest.
Yeah.
I was like, this is hilarious. And I kept going for a long time.
The problem is that the lows stick with you more, I think. Like, I had an interesting gig. The worst feedback I've ever got, like, I just said to you, like, no one after a stand-up gig comes up to you and tells you did sit. Well, apparently they do.
Yeah.
This was a gig I did, awful gig. And I had, it was like, the way the room was set up meant like half of them couldn't see the stage, so they talked, which meant there was just noise in the room.
Oh.
Like, it was just fucked from like A to Z. And I was the headline, so I did like my 25 minutes at the end. And afterwards, an old man, like I'm thinking like 80 years old, dotted over to me and was just like, "You were awful."
Really?
And he literally was like this face was like this. He was just like, "Awful." Awful. Like it was like the ghost of Christmas Future or some shit. I was like, what is the fuck? And I was like, oh, okay. And Colin Emshurst was there, and we both just kind of awkwardly chuckling because we were like, at what point is he going to turn this around as a bit?
Yeah.
But it wasn't. He just shuffled away. And I, like, it fucking shattered me. Like, I was like, someone thought I was that bad.
Oh my
On the way
God.
out of that gig, this is how I know that affects you more than good feedback. I'm walking out of that gig, and 3 girls, like young women, which was, you know, just for a comedian, probably the
That's
dream,
the best comedy,
ran up to me and were like, oh my God, you were so funny, it was so good, oh my God, like, what's your Instagram, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I still like, yeah, okay, see ya, bye. He said I was awful. He said I was like all the way to the car for the next 3 days. I'm fucked up about that.
Matt takes home one of those girls, and while they're having sex, all he can figure out
Yeah.
is the old man. You were
Who's awful now? Who's awful now? Yeah, no. And then like that classic scene, like her face changes. To
It's
like,
the old man shaking.
no good.
Oh,
No good.
how was my sexual performance? Awful.
Yeah. Oh, just awful. Yeah. No. Fuck.
Yeah,
Autobiographical experiences.
I love bad room layouts as well.
Yeah.
Fuck, I remember doing a gig. It was Best of British Comedy at the British Festival in the Royal Show.
So of course they got you on.
And yeah.
The most British man alive.
Yeah, man, it was like, they were like, let's do a comedy show. They got like John Pinot, who was British, and then the rest of us were just not
Dudes.
British. Just funny, you know, just comedians. But the room was so whack. You know, like basically the best setup you can have for a comedy room, I would say, is like Shapiro's, where it's like narrow, deep,
dark. The only lit place is the stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
It's very embarrassing to leave.
Yes, yeah. You don't
Yeah.
want people getting up and going. I think that was like the perfect comedy venue.
Yeah.
It's just laid out perfectly, right? So this was, in every way that was good, this was bad, right? So fucking enormous room.
Yeah.
Enormous room, but like wide.
Yeah.
And it was daytime.
Yeah.
Daytime, broad day. I'm laughing so much, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
Fucking broad daylight. I'm laughing because the audience weren't, you know?
Yeah.
Broad daylight, massive room, chairs in like a little square, noise outside.
Yeah.
It was fucked, man. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And
It's one of those gigs you walk into and you're just like, oh my.
yeah,
God.
mic's not loud enough, and
Yeah.
it's like, just like kebab shop PA
Yeah,
system.
totally.
And it was like it was like at the Royal Show, so the main oval has a fucking parade of British cars going, so
Yeah.
they're not even paying attention. But it was just dog shit. Yeah, it was just a shitty layout. And comedy during the day never works as well.
No.
You need dedicated attention, darkness. And that's what a dark room does. It naturally focuses your attention on the only lit
And
bit.
cold, apparently. It has to be a little
better.
bit cold. Yeah. Johnny
thought warm.
McAllister, the comedy lounge, got big on that. He's like, you need to refrigerate them a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, people are a little more attentive and like watch. If they get hot, they're more likely to be lethargic and laid back and just kind of relax and watch. But if they're like not cold, you don't want them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if they're a little bit,
I want
cold,
like so it seems like the optimum room is one of those refrigerated shipping containers.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
just pump cold air
yeah,
and you just
you
leave
hand
them
them
there.
mittens on the way. in.
Yeah. I did it. I remember doing a gig in a fucking shipping container once. You might have done that.
At Falls Festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
Falls Festival Freo.
Uh-huh.
And that is actually a good room setup. This would be a good comedy room now I think about
It
it.
actually wouldn't. Yeah, not bad.
Low roof is always good as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I bombed once as well in Vic Park. Jimmy never lets me live this one down. This is always bad as well. That was my type 5 I was doing.
Yeah.
And so like if you don't know, like a stand-up comedian, the first thing they work on is getting a type 5, which is your best 5 minutes. You might have like half an hour or an hour of jokes that you've tried, and you whittle it down to that best 5 so that you can get spots, maybe get paid.
And I had done this 5 for Raw 2 years in a row. I'd done it at so many different places. And for some reason, I just wanted to do it here. Because I think it was a paid gig, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was like, these are my best things. I was like, I'm not trying anything new. These are the old favorites, no worries. For some reason, I do not know why, it just bombed.
Yeah.
And I reckon once the first one, I think it's like a trajectory. Once it starts going good, it goes up. Once it starts going bad, it just goes down.
Yeah.
And I'm doing what I consider the best things I could possibly say for 5 minutes. And fucking crickets, man. And I just don't know what causes that sometimes. I reckon there's some dynamic. They don't like you as you walk up.
Yeah.
Maybe you did something that you didn't realize.
Yeah, that can be frustrating. You're like, what is it about me? And then like you make it worse when you try and salvage it. Because you're like trying to be more energetic, or you're like trying to give it more, but then you're less authentic. Like they're like, you're just Sometimes I think with tried and true, that's when you know jokes are dying. Is when they used to be completely reliable, and now when you do them, they feel kind of stale. And you're like, I can tell I'm kind of tuning out while I'm performing this.
Because that would not be that the joke is out of date. It's just that you are no longer into it.
Yeah, pretty much. There are some jokes I do that I'm like, I actually have to stop and think about why it's funny. Because I've done it so much. I know I say this word, you laugh. Next joke.
Yeah, it's a real like...
I've lost what I actually liked about it that made me write it. Yeah.
I like your crow joke a lot.
Thanks, man. I don't do that anymore because John Pinder has a better crow joke. So
better.
Yeah, you've heard John Pinder's crow joke? Oh, he just does a really good crow impression.
Oh, don't fucking worry about that. That is a brilliant
It started like we can't do the crow joke on the same gig. Yes. And then I was like, I just can't face myself when I do the crow joke. So
there are jokes that are like that you feel are just too, and similar like videos that are just like too basic and too easy. Yeah. Maybe you feel that way. I like those. I think it's really good. Yeah. But there are some jokes I'd like. I know there's another comedian. He has this bit which is like about like his girlfriend loves him so much, but will fart in bed. And it's like, it's such a just basic bottom of the barrel joke, but it's like his strongest joke. Yeah. It's like, I can't throw it out as much as I want to. Yeah. It's really strong. They love it. So I imagine you'd have something like that you've cycled out.
Yeah, and some that I still do. Like there's a joke, like the one that I do where I'm like, Homeschooling, and then I do like a silly laugh. That is so consistently reliable and so quick. I think that's why I'm still doing it. It lasts like 20 seconds. And it's a great like characterizer at the top of the set. So like I wrote that in 2013 or something.
You did that for Raw in Melbourne.
I did that for Raw. Yeah. So and I'm still doing it. I did it last fucking night. Because it's so consistent, it's so reliable, it's so quick.
Yes.
And so it doesn't really bother me that I keep doing it. But the other stuff I'm rotating out.
Just check the okay.
Yeah.
We need to go. That was fucking brilliant.
Thanks, man.
Matt, thank you very much, man.
Thanks for having me.
Bloody awesome.
And on the unnamed podcast.
On the unnamed podcast. We'll figure something out. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Fucking see you next episode.
Bye. Thanks, bro. No, appreciate it.
There's no camera there anymore.
See you later.